the ongoing crisis of wrongful convictions in America. Imagine waking up in a prison cell day after day for a crime you didn't commit. The world outside moves on, family gatherings, birthdays, graduations, while you remain trapped, not because of what you did, but because of a system designed to convict, not one designed to seek truth. This isn't some rare tragedy. It's a harsh reality for tens of thousands of people across the United States. Experts estimate that 2% to 10% of people currently imprisoned in the U.S. are innocent. It might sound like a small percentage, but when applied to the 2.3 million people behind bars, it means anywhere from 46,000 to 230,000 lives stolen, dreams shattered, families broken, and futures erased. These aren't just numbers. They're fathers, mothers, sons, daughters, and friends. Human beings paying the price for a system riddled with flaws and corruption. Since 1989, the National Registry of Exonerations has documented over 3,175 cases where innocent people were finally freed. Together, they spent nearly 32,000 years locked away for crimes they didn't commit. Just last year, there were 153 exonerations, and the most common cause wasn't a simple mistake. It was official misconduct. Police hiding evidence, prosecutors coercing confessions, authorities more focused on closing cases than finding the truth. Why does this happen? Well, the answer is as infuriating as it is heartbreaking. In 64% of wrongful convictions in 2023, officials engaged in misconduct, blatantly ignoring justice for the sake of a win. In 59% of cases, false accusations led to innocent people being caged, often because an incentivized witness, jailhouse informant hoping for more leniency, lied to save their own skin. Eyewitness misidentification, especially across racial lines, played a role in 28% of cases, and nearly 1/3 of wrongful convictions involved false confessions extracted through brutal, relentless interrogations designed to break even the strongest minds. But let's be clear, this crisis doesn't affect everyone equally. Black Americans are 7 times more likely to be wrongfully convicted of serious crimes than white Americans. In 2023, 61% of exonerees were Black, and when it comes to wrongful murder convictions, Black individuals accounted for 53%, despite making up only 13% of the U.S. population. This is not a coincidence. It's systemic racism, baked into the very foundation of our justice system. Even when innocence is proven, the road to freedom is brutal. Prosecutors often fight to keep convictions intact, arguing that finality matters more than justice. Strict deadlines for introducing new evidence shut the door on countless appeals. Without DNA evidence, which isn't available in most cases, innocent people remain trapped. Judges, wary of undermining the system's credibility, often turn a blind eye. And parole boards, they expect prisoners to show remorse, leaving innocent people stuck. How can you express regret for something you didn't even do? And for some, the fight ends not in freedom, but in death. At least 195 people have been exonerated after being sentenced to die. A horrifying number. But what about those who weren't saved in time? Innocent men and women executed by the state despite evidence of their innocence. Names like Cameron Tom Willingham, who was killed in Texas in 2004 based on junk science and faulty testimony. Or Troy Davis, executed in Georgia in 2011 despite overwhelming doubt about his guilt. These aren't accidents. They're state-sanctioned murders carried out while officials turn a blind eye. And the worst part, prosecutors, judges, and officials responsible for these deaths never face accountability. They move on with their careers, their reputations intact, while innocent lives are snuffed out and families are left with nothing but grief and rage. Certain states stand out as epicenters of injustice. Illinois led the nation in 2023 with 25 exonerations, many tied to corrupt officers like former Detective Ronaldo Guevara. Michigan followed with 16, 11 of which involved wrongful murder convictions. Texas and New York each saw 13 exonerations, with many cases hinging on prosecutorial misconduct or flawed forensic evidence. But despite the overwhelming evidence of failure, the system still drags its feet. The wheel of justice grinds slowly, and often they grind people down with them. But there is hope. Hope born from tireless advocacy, courageous exonerees speaking out, and reforms that inch us closer to accountability. Better discovery laws now push for full evidence disclosure. The movement to end the death penalty gains traction, fueled by the chilling fact that at least 195 people have been exonerated after being sentenced to die, and innocent people continue to be put to death. Conviction integrity units, now active in 122 jurisdictions, have helped overturn more than 600 wrongful convictions. But hope alone won't free the innocent. It takes outrage. It takes action. It takes a refusal to accept a system that values convictions over truth. Wrongful convictions don't just destroy lives, they erode the trust in the very idea of justice. And until we confront this crisis head on, the prison cells will remain full of people whose only crime was being caught in a system designed to punish, not to protect. We can't afford complacency. Every moment an innocent person spends behind bars, or worse, faces execution, is a stain on our collective conscience. Please, speak up. Demand reform, call out those who abuse their power, and never pay the price. Support organizations fighting for exonerations, the lives of countless innocent people. People just like you and me depend on it.
Welcome to America, land of bullshit. Fuck what you heard this country's about. Equality, freedom, prosperity for the wrong type of Americans. That shit don't work out. If the so-called leaders or elected politicians are having any kinds of doubt, listen to citizens from the east, west, north, and south. Ain't nothing but bad things coming out of people's mouth.